I appreciate what you've done back there.
Oh, thanks. Your approval means everything to me.
And some sarcasm to stick the landing. Nice one.
Maybe once I would have cried over him, but now he was just another person in our way. We're nothing alike. Nothing.
So here's the thing about Starlight and Butcher from The Boys. They are way more similar than we give them credit for. You know, after season 4 is probably the weirdest time for me to make this video, given that they likely don't have a single positive conversation in the entire season, but some revelations about Starlight's past this season actually kind of deepened my belief in this point. So I wanted to clear up a few reasons why Starlight and Butcher might seem extremely different, but are actually quite similar people, though Starlight might deny it. One thing that they have in common is they both have a certain ruthlessness about them that carries over into their work. Now, I don't think anyone would describe Starlight as cruel or aggressive, but I think season 4 has definitely emphasized this part of her personality and shown that it has more control over her than some of us might think. After Firecracker comes after her and reveals to the country that she had an abortion, she actually cannot control herself, immediately leaving to beat her ass. Butcher often has the same problem controlling his impulses, his Kessler-like impulses.
Shut your fucking cake hole, bitch!
When his dad talks about Lenny, or when Huey prevents him from shooting Kamiko's brother, he simply cannot stop himself from beating on those people. Even Huey, who he cares so much about. I mean, he nearly kills his dad in that one scene too, and the look in his eyes is just pure rage, and we can see the same thing in Starlight's face when she is marching out of the Starlight house and over to Firecracker. They are both seeing nothing but red. And Annie is absolutely the same way in season 4. She just continues beating Firecracker to a pulp and likely would have killed her eventually if MM hadn't come and interrupted her rage, giving her time to actually think about what she's been doing. I mean, that last punch that she was charging up might have actually just finished her off. And then also she clocks Newman when she insults her self-confidence, knowing full well that this could be an instantaneous death for her. And even before season 4, we could see this aspect of Annie shine through the sweet girl-next-door superhero personality we usually get. With regard to the scene from the beginning of this video, Starlight doesn't like killing that man, especially after finding out that he has a child, and obviously feels some guilt over it, but she does recognize that she doesn't regret doing it, because he was in her way and she needs to get Huey to safety. Butcher operates under the same perspective, and actually respects her for killing that innocent man. I don't think Butcher particularly likes it either. Who does? Well, Homelander. But he does see things more black and white than other characters. If someone's in their way, they're in their way. I mean, Butcher was about to shoot that guy before he even pulled a gun on him and Starlight. He just didn't care because Huey was injured and this man was preventing them from getting to the hospital. And Starlight is kind of on that same mindset. She cares about Huey just as much as Butcher does, if not more, and he was bleeding out. I think she knew how this situation was going to end before she actually used her powers and killed the man. And a lot of this behavior is due to them learning similar lessons from their upbringing. Now, don't get me wrong, Butcher and Annie had completely different childhoods. Annie was a single child, doted on by her mother, and forced to participate in beauty pageants and talent shows.
Pain is weakness leaving the body. That's right, we're winners. And that means that we do whatever it takes to win.
While Butcher had an abusive father and a younger brother to look after.
The world's an ocean of shite, lads. You either sink or you swim. Today, Billy, my boy, you swam.
Despite the fact that they were raised by such different people in such vastly different environments, they learned the same thing. If you want to survive, you have to be hard. Annie's mother taught her to be underhanded and rather needlessly cruel to the girls around her in order to win those pageants and talent shows and make it to the 7. She was taught that to be able to be on top of the world and get anything you want, you have to push other people out of your way, which is the cause for characters like Firecracker coming back and showing her the consequences of those actions. Which, by the way, as many people hated Starlight's arc, this is another reason why this season I was absolutely obsessed with it. I mean, this is just such a smart way to use her past that I hadn't really thought about before. And Butcher grew extremely thick skin after taking a beating from his father year after year. And after spending so much time protecting his brother, who never learned to be hard like he was, in his father's words, and having that situation end so tragically, Butcher could really only come to one conclusion, which is that you can't get through life without being vicious. It's just not possible. I mean, that is pretty much the only behavior he was ever taught from his father, even if his mother was generally kind to him, it seems. And as much much as you want to be good and do the right thing for those around you, there are always those extra pieces of shit who remind you just how far you need to go to get anything you want done, like Homelander, or Firecracker. Another thing that they have in common is they both struggle with their sense of identity. Their hero side is always quarreling with that part of their brain that wants to punch and kill everyone in their way. Starlight began as this very naive, wide-eyed, very hopeful superhero that actually thought she could be doing good things at Vought. Obviously, she had been ruthless to get there, but she likely felt that now that she had earned her spot on the Seven, she didn't need to fight and claw anymore, which... boy, was she wrong. Throughout season 1, she's constantly beaten down and shown that she isn't actually doing hero work, which is what leads her to help Huey and the boys at the end of the season and going into the next ones. Through the boys, she was temporarily able to find a place where she could be the hero that she wanted to be, until she realized that wasn't all it was cracked up to be either. In season 3, the boys as a team is rather messy, and she spends a lot of her time chastising Butcher and Huey for using Temp V. She thought that this team was her way to do good work, but again, her view of what good work actually is just shaken and disproved. Even these people that she thought were on the good side are doing these really underhanded and secretive, whatever it takes measures to get back at the heroes, which she still vaguely doesn't feel is right. And then, in season 4, when she's running the Starlight house and trying to be as real a hero she can be, she's taken down again by Firecracker, this time mortally wounding her perception of herself. She doesn't really see herself as a hero anymore, at all, and it didn't really get solved by the end of season 4, which I think puts her more in line with where Butcher is, or was, before that last episode. She's just going to do what it takes for what she feels is right. She's starting to realize that's all she can do, and that being a superhero isn't really a viable goal for her anymore. There is no obviously right side, and sometimes you do have to get your hands dirty to do the right thing. So she kind of started in this very hopeful place and was kind of beaten down to rely on those instincts that she had learned as a child. Meanwhile, Butcher kind of starts in the opposite place. Very dark, brooding, whatever it takes attitude. At every turn in season 1, he shows that he's just really using the boys to get whatever he wants, and he doesn't really care about who he hurts or the lives he's ruined. I mean, he just leaves the boys to get captured. He doesn't even care about them. Huey is the one that actually goes back and rescues them. Also, he recruits Huey into this with just blatant lies, and changes the course of his life forever. Granted, I do think this is what Huey wants, but still, Butcher used the fuck out of him. But as the seasons go on, he starts having more and more trouble making those types of harsh decisions to get what he wants, especially after Becca is revealed to be alive and she's able to more definitively express to him what she wants out of him before she actually passes away. I think that made a big difference in the arc of his character. In season 2, he makes a deal with Stan and Edgar, but he decides to go back on it because he can't bear to take Ryan away from Becca, even if it does get in the way of his own plans. He ends up deciding to do the good thing, the just thing, even though his instincts are telling him to just take Becca and run. In season 3, he wants to use Soldier Boy, an extremely dangerous and volatile weapon to kill Homelander, along with Temp V, hurting himself and Huey, but eventually decides against it, turning on Soldier Boy and forcing Huey to stop taking the V by punching him, which, by the way, is the most Butcher way to do the right thing ever. And all across season 4, besides like the last couple scenes, he tries so hard to make things right with Ryan, ignoring Kessler's, aka Dark Butcher's, advice and going more down the path of the righteous hero. He throws away the drugged cookies. He advocates against trapping and training or killing Ryan, and he never forgets to send small gestures to remind Ryan that he cares about him and that he's thinking about him and his mother. But when this all fails, he falls back on that instinct that he learned from his father and his childhood. And while Starlight doesn't end up in the same place at the end of season 4, I do think it's entirely possible for her to get there, especially after what we saw. She has those same instincts and that same doubt about her morality that Butcher does because of the time that she spent on the Seven and with the boys. Who knows? I mean, she has lost all of her friends at the end of season 4. I think she could be on a warpath when we come back, especially now that the writers are finally giving her power the credit that it deserves. I mean, finally, she is going to be doing some broken shit next season. It is long overdue for her. But I do think, overall, even though they argue and that Annie is not a fan of Butcher in season 4 or season 3, probably even more so after the ending, I do think that they have a lot in common, and I do wish the show would directly address it more, as they've really only done it in season 2, and I think it's an excellent and very intelligent comparison, given how differently these characters present themselves on the outside. Despite that, they're very similar, and they have a lot of the same doubts about their own morality due to their childhoods, and because of their whatever it takes attitude that's always in the back of their head. But anyway, if you enjoyed this video, let me know what you thought in the comments below, and also let me know what else you would like to see from me. I've been making a lot of The Boys content recently, and I love to do so, because it's one of my favorite shows, but if there's any other show you'd like to see, feel free to request it in the comments below. And then also, go to patreon.com/PosiTVty, that's POSI-TVTY, I had to take a breath there, I was running out. There you can get a bunch of extra content, you get all these videos early, these essays are unedited, so you can hear all of my glorious mistakes, there were quite a few in this one, but if you want more content, you can go there. You can even join for free, so you can get a free sneak peek. I'll give you up to 2 minutes of the videos before they actually hit YouTube, so you still get extra content, even if you're not paying, but you can start paying for as little as $1 and get all that content completely early, and it helps us grow this channel, so we really appreciate every bit of support you guys give us on there. But also, thank you so much for everything you guys have done on YouTube. I mean, I am so touched by all the love we've been getting, and I hope that we keep making videos that you guys can enjoy, so let us know what those videos should be. This is probably the cleanest outro I've ever had. Fuck yes.